Ryan Reagan, the co-founder of HK Excel. So today I want to talk about a topic that a lot of IB students ask me. I've received a lot of emails on this topic, and while I was browsing through some online forums, I saw a lot of IB students asking the same question. And that question is, what is the point of doing IB? What is the IB going to do to my future? Right? Are these skills that I'm learning in IB actually applicable to the real world? I find that question interesting, and in this video I want to address this question. For me, I've successfully built a couple of successful businesses. The first one is HK Excel local business. We tutor well over 10% of the IB students in Hong Kong, so that's well over 300 every week. And for overseas, we also developed an overseas presence for IB. We started our online platform just 2 months ago now. We teach over 100 IB students every week all around the world just through the internet. Okay, so as someone who have developed a career and have done the IB before, I'd like to share with you what I believe the IB has done for me, and hopefully this will solve your question. So what is the point of doing IB? Hopefully after this video you see the point of doing it and you sort of see how it will help you in the future. One of the most important things that I think the IB has taught me is how to solve problems. You know, in the IB is much more difficult for, let's say, GCSE or the IB NYP. So most students, when they go into the IB, they really find the IB much more difficult, and it takes time to adapt, right? In the IB, you often see questions that are not based on the basic knowledge. So you really need to think out of the box. You really need to find a way to tackle the problems. And you know what? This is, I think, the most valuable lesson and the most valuable mindset that the IB has given me, because throughout the IB, for the entire 2 years, I've learned to tackle a problem that in the beginning I find difficult. I learned to approach the problem in different ways to tackle it. And you know what? In the real world, actually, that's exactly what people get paid for. Like, whether or not you're an entrepreneur, you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to start, or you want to work for somebody else, basically what you get paid for in the real world is solving problems. The real world doesn't matter. The world doesn't care about how much effort you put into doing something. The world pays you for results, right? You need to deliver results. You need to be able to solve problems, right? For example, for me, when I started the overseas business, so how can I attract students from all around the world to know about HK Excel, for example, right? So these are very hard problems, and the IB, I think it does a good job of training your mind, training you to be. So after you're done the IB, you shouldn't be scared of solving problems. You should enjoy solving problems, embrace solving problems, right? So I think one of the most important things I believe you should get out of the IB is the mindset that you shouldn't be afraid of problems. You should embrace problems, and you should understand that solving problems is just a habit in life, right? It's just what we exist to do, even in the marketplace, right? Another thing that I think the IB really given me is I learned how to set goals and how to achieve goals. If I'm honest with you, I set a goal for myself to get 40 out of 45 in the IB diploma, and in the end, that's exactly what I have achieved. Okay, so, but it is the first time in my life that I've set such a concrete goal and I achieved it. But it was because I really wanted to get that 40 out of 45. It was an obsession, right? And throughout the process, basically, I reminded myself constantly. Every day I took action towards my goal. I made it very concrete. I had very compelling reasons why I wanted to achieve 40 out of 45. Right? And because of this experience, I sort of applied this sort of mindset to other areas of my life. For example, starting a business, right? Getting a certain number of sales in the first month, right? Setting sales targets, or even for fitness, right? I want to get fit, and what are the goals I'm going to set on, how I'm going to carry it out. How do you develop a desire to succeed? Right? I think the IB has really taught me that, because actually it was a successful experience for me in which I achieved the exact goal I set for myself, and I applied the same mindset to other areas of my life. And I think you should do the same as well. You should set a goal for yourself in the IB and really look at it as a challenge. And that sort of mindset of reaching a goal is very similar to anything else you would do in life later on. Very important thing in the IB that the IB has taught me is learning how to learn, right? Throughout the IB diploma, a lot of difficult concepts were thrown at me, and I had to digest them and apply it onto a test. So it really taught me how to learn, like really how to get the knowledge and apply it in a useful manner. Again, how to absorb knowledge in the quickest manner, how to organize what is thrown at me and sort of make sense of it, right? This skill is very, very important, because I believe, like for me, even now, every month I read about 2 books, right? So before I started doing the IB, you know, my learning skills were quite poor. When I read a passage, I normally only obtained like maybe 30 to 40% of the information. But through doing a lot of English, although I hated the subject, right, at least it gave me a very important reading comprehension skill. So when I read something, I can very quickly understand it. And even for, let's say, when I did chemistry, a lot of times I need to read through notes, right? I need to understand what is going on. This is very, very important, because all throughout life, I think if you want to be successful, you need to learn, have continuous learning, right? You need to be able to learn new skills and quickly adapt, right? So I think this is very, very valuable. So you should think of IB as a training that shows you how you can learn more. I think the last important skill is writing and speaking skills. Although, again, I learned them from the English course, which I really disliked, but it was helpful for me. So writing is very important. Like, throughout the IB, you learn to become a better and better writer. How do you put across your points concisely, effectively? You know, I think in 99% of the jobs, especially if you're in sales and marketing, you definitely need good English skills, right? And speaking as well, right? Giving a presentation. Even if, no matter what you do, entrepreneur or working for somebody else, you need to have good presentation skills. I think it's a must nowadays. So I think the IB trains you well for that, right? There are a number of presentations throughout the IB. So I think you should really take those learning experiences seriously, because they're going to... So this is it for the video today. I just thank you for watching, and hopefully this video gave you some new motivation to study hard for the IB. And hopefully if you're confused about what's the point of studying IB now, you have a better idea, okay? So if you like this video, subscribe to the channel. Every week we'll have a lot of new tip videos coming up, okay? Thank you.